काशी आमिया परिचे खासी हास्य परि हस संभाषणे नरोत्तम दासकाय नित्य लीला सुखमय सदाई स्फुरक मुरा माने नरोत्तम दासकाय नित्य लीला सुखमय सदाई स्फुरक मुरा माने वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर रतन मंदिर मनोहर रतन मंदिर मनोहर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम
Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you for singing. You sing so beautifully. Thank you so much.
Very nicely rendered, Mataji. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So let's begin with our prayers. And then so we have around 24 participants. Okay, I think some of them will be still joining. Since it is first day, we'll keep joining. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Chaitanya Manobhustam Namutale Vayam Rupa Kada Mayam Tadati Swapadantikam Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Jagopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Namaste Devi Pranamami Hari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvai Kadadata Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome again. So you all have finished 18 days course. That was like an overview. Here we'll be going a little more in depth. We'll cover all the verses and all the purports and everything. So what we do is we go a little slow. We finish half the chapter and then we take our own time, like 5 or 6 days. And then by next Friday, you will have a chance to go through the purports and then, half the chapter. So it's not too much. Then you go through the purports, and when we discuss in the class what you hear in the class and what you read in the purports, when you do that together, you'll understand better. And the quiz also will become easy to solve. So what I suggest is, after you hear the class, you open the book and read. I hope you all have Bhagavad Gita as it is book with you. So open the book and read. So it will become much easier to understand. Because we'll discuss whatever is there in the book only we discuss here. Everything in the slides, what you see, is everything from Prabhupada's purports. So it will be very easy to understand. So let's begin.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pradhan. Just for 1 minute, Mataji, are we going to do the Bhagavad Gita again or nectar of devotion and instruction?
This is Bhagavad Gita level 2. In the sense, we will do a little slower than what you did in level 1.
Okay. Wow.
It was overview of the chapters.
Okay.
Here we take, all the verses and discuss more in detail.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And towards the end of the class, we'll have question answer session. There,
Okay.
anything pertaining to the chapter, we can discuss. Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
let's begin. Chapter 1 today. You know the name of the chapter?
Arjuna Vishada Yoga.
Observing the armies. So whatever we study here is based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Let's pay our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and Radha Govinda. This is Prabhupada, founder of ISKCON. He founded ISKCON in 1966 July, and he started it in the Western world. It was registered in New York. And this is Prabhupada in Jagannath Rath Yatra. Here all the deities, the Ratha, everything was carved in America. Everything was made in America. Nothing was taken from India. So that's all Prabhupada's mercy. And this is life of Prabhupada again. He took birth in a Vaishnava family. He talks very highly about his father, Gaur Mohan De. And when he was a little child also, he was quite attached to the Lord, Krishna and Radha. When he was just 5 years old, he wanted to perform the Ratha Yatra. He was very adamant, so his father actually helped him. He arranged for a Ratha, and then all the Matajis in that lane made sweetmeats, and he and his friends actually performed the Ratha Yatra. So we see here, and he met his spiritual master in 1922. He took initiation in 1933, and he took sannyasa in 1959. And then he moved to Radha Damodar Temple, Vrindavan. His guru's instructions were that he should distribute the books and preach in the Western world. His English was very good, and his guru gave him instructions, and Prabhupada took it very seriously. So he traveled to US all alone. We know how difficult his journey was. We have discussed all that in the 18 days course also. So Prabhupada traveled to America in a cargo ship named Chaladuta in 1965. So it was a very, it was not an easy journey. He got 2 heart attacks on the way. Still he reached America, and he started this movement in Tompkins Square Park, just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let's move on. He was preaching Krishna consciousness across the globe. He has translated over 70 Vedic literatures for us. And he also published a magazine called Back to Godhead, which is still there. And this is his timeline. Was it audible when I played it?
Yeah, but
No, Mataji.
Yeah, but
No,
if it can be better, it'd be great, Mataji. But slightly, it is little dull.
Okay. So Prabhupada traveled around the world several times to preach
Yes.
Krishna consciousness. That is his timeline. I'll play again. Audible.
Vishe
Hare Krishna. So you got to see how many times he traveled across the globe. And it's not easy. What he's accomplished is something really great. And that's the mercy of an Acharya, bona fide spiritual master. So let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govinda. So this is the address of our temple. Whatever we are, whatever you learn in these classes is all because of the grace of Namanishtadas Prabhuji. This is all happening under this direction and instructions. And there is a new temple now. This is the old address. You'll find the new address on the website. So, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Bhagavad Gita is an epic scripture that has the answers to all our problems. It was considered a spiritual dictionary by Mahatma Gandhi, and it is a book of inspiration for many leaders across the planet. So Bhagavad Gita is timeless. It gives us insight into our world, soul, God, who is God, what is absolute truth, what is true love, what is happiness. We get answers to all those questions. And then we also see in the market, there are many books about yoga. So many instructions are there. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, you'll understand the true meaning of yoga. Bhagavad Gita teaches us true meaning of yoga. And it is also, it is so special because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of God himself. And he is not going to confuse us. His instructions are very clear. And at the end of the 18th chapter, it becomes very clear what we should be doing. What's the right course of action for us. So we have to surrender to the Lord, become a devotee, chant, and how we should perform our karma, everything. What is karma yoga? What is jnana yoga? What is bhakti yoga? We learn everything. We understand the three modes of material nature and how they act on us. So we learn a lot more things. So let's go ahead. So these are some testimonies from great people. You must have seen this in the 18th course also. We can go ahead and skip them if you want. Okay. Why ISKCON's Bhagavad Gita as it is? Can anyone answer this question since you already attended the 18 days course? The answer is right here, but you can read it if you want.
It's because the exact meaning of whatever written in Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, not the personal view of Guruji, Prabhuji is mentioned. And that's why it is as it is.
Yes, Mataji, you are right. Because in the introduction itself,
Bhagavad
Prabhupada
Gita.
says there are, yes, Prabhu?
Yeah, it is Bhagavad Gita as it is, because Prabhupada has translated exactly what it is written in Bhagavad Gita. And this is a knowledge which has come from Guru Parampara, right from Brahmaji to us. So it is not distorted. That is the biggest thing, what I feel.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, your answers were correct. Thank you for the participation. So here it is given, just like phone gets damaged if you charge it with a broken cable, it cannot be used for proper data transfer either. This is due to lack of contact between the source and the receiver. In the 4th chapter also we learn that, that's why Krishna had to repeat these instructions. He had already spoken Bhagavad Gita long back to Sun God, but he had to repeat all this to Arjuna again. Why? Because there was lack of, there was no proper data transfer happening. So this has to be, Bhagavad Gita must be heard and understood from pure devotees in an unbroken chain of disciplic succession. The message of Krishna must come via an unbroken chain of disciplic succession. And Prabhupada says in the introduction itself, there are so many translations of Bhagavad Gita, over 600 translations of Bhagavad Gita, but the authenticity of Vedic literature is preserved in this. So it is, some people write their own personally motivated interpretation. And that is their Gita, that is not Bhagavad Gita. So we belong to Odiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. There are 4 prominent Sampradayas, Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and then Kumara Sampradaya. And then we have Vishnu Swami also from Rudra Sampradaya. Shri Sampradaya is Ramanujacharya. And Kumara Sampradaya is Nimbarkacharya. And then these are the prominent acharyas. And in Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is Madhvacharya. So we have to understand from pure devotees only. Gita is a vast book. A systematic study of the Gita will take about an year. So this was in 18 days course. So it says it will take a year for you to go through the whole book and really understand. But let us go ahead and see. So there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna spoke 574, Arjuna spoke 84, Sanjaya 41, and Dhritarashtra, the first verse, spoke the first verse 41. Now, what are the 5 things discussed in Bhagavad Gita as it is? Do you know? You cannot try, it's okay. Anyway, we're going to learn in the next few slides. You can just attempt. This was given in the 18 days course also, so I thought I'll ask.
We are not the body, we are the soul. That is one, I guess.
I'm talking about this 5 things in the sense we learn. See, these are the 5 things: Ishvara,
okay.
Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala are eternal. Karma is temporary, manifested and annihilated. Ishvara is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Prakriti is material nature. Jiva, we are all Jivas. Jiva, soul. Kala, time factor. Karma. Karma is an activity that gives another material body, the conditioned soul. So the mood of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna's bewilderment and appearance of illusion must be understood to be Krishna's arrangement. Arjuna was put into illusion by Krishna so that he could speak Bhagavad Gita. And it was not just for Arjuna, these instructions for everybody. So it was all Krishna's arrangement. If not for Arjuna's confusion and bewilderment, there would have been no necessity for Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita to rescue him. Although Arjuna is the apparent first listener of the Bhagavad Gita, it is for the benefit of everyone. So, beginning of Bhagavad Gita, this was the scene. Arjuna's indecisiveness. Krishna drove the chariot in midst of both armies. Arjuna was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. He surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Okay. Okay, we'll just read this verse from Gita Mahatmya. Gita Mahatmya actually says, if you want to read one book, read Bhagavad Gita. That is enough. And if you want to worship a God, just worship Lord Krishna.
Excuse me, Mataji. Excuse me.
Mataji.
I wanted to chant a shloka on this on the thing which you spoke. It is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Nimnagana stha Ganga Devanam Achyuto Yatha Vaishnavana Yatha Shambhu Puranam Idan Tatha. Which means the rivers, Ganga is the best. Among the gods, Krishna is the best. Among the Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the best. And among the Purana, it's Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam the best.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Would you like to sing this?
Yes, I was conducting classes, the Sunday classes Bhagavad Gita. I had included this shloka and I used to speak every Sunday.
Okay. Do you want to sing this one, Prabhu?
Yes, please. Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dokta Gopad Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Gitamritam Mahat.
Hare Krishna. This entire Gita Mahatmya has been uploaded in YouTube and it has a tune also. It's very nice to hear and the meaning also is very great. It is by Shankaracharya himself. Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dokta Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Gitamritam Mahat. So, all the Upanishads.
Hare Krishna Mataji, your voice is a little bit, Mataji.
It's not clear, is it?
Yes, it's very low today.
That's why I'm using headphones, but still it's happening.
Mm.
I'm trying to be, not sure if it is connected properly. Sorry. Okay, I'll just go ahead. All the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Shri Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf. Beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortune devotees of fine theistic intellect, the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So let's begin the chapter. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's yoga of lamentation. What is the eligibility criteria to listen to Krishna? Who is eligible to hear Bhagavad Gita?
A person
Anyone
who
say?
surrenders to Krishna.
Like Prabhupada took this to the West also. He was preaching to so many people. So what is the eligibility criteria?
You should surrender yourself. You should accept yourself that you are a soul and you have to surrender to your Guru and to the Lord.
Anyone else? This also please add.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Like a kind, soft-hearted and non-violent person who is fit to receive self-knowledge by acquiring about Atma.
Mataji, your voice is breaking. I'm not sure if it is.
Not who is cruel and violent.
Hare Krishna. You all are right. But actually, anyone in this world who is going through the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease can benefit from this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. They can hear Bhagavad Gita because it is just like sun. Sun belongs to everyone. So Krishna is all attractive. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He attracts everyone, and we cannot, bind Krishna to one sect of people, one sect of group of people, or one land, or anything like some particular land. Nothing like that. So anyone can benefit by hearing Krishna, because we are all in this Dukharayam Shashvatam, this place of misery. So by hearing Bhagavad Gita, we'll understand how to come out of this miserable condition. So, but we have to understand from a person who is coming from the disciplic succession, who is not giving his own motivated interpretation. So that is very important. Let's go on. So from 1 to 27, we'll see the preparations of war. From 28 to 46 verses, Arjuna's doubts. Section 1, let's move on. Introduction, preparations for war, signs of victory. Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. This is a very simple chapter actually. So you see, how does Duryodhana look? What do you think he's actually feeling here? And how does Arjuna look?
Mataji, Duryodhana is angry and Arjuna is in a state, he's worried. He's feeling bad, not worried exactly, he's feeling bad. Because he had to fight with his own relatives, and Duryodhana was in a mode of anger. He was asking his teacher and Bhishma Pitama to go and fight without any hesitation.
How does Arjuna
Arjuna
look
was in
actually?
fear, Mataji, because he saw the Sena of the
Mataji.
Duryodhana, that's why.
Duryodhana was in fear, Mataji, and Arjuna was emotionally attached and broken down to fight against his family members and relatives, friends.
Okay, so here we see Duryodhana is in a lot of stress. Arjuna is stressed in the sense he has fear inside, but he's actually not showing it. He's a perfect politician. And we see here, yes, you see his face. You can see the devotee's face and a person like Duryodhana's face. Arjuna is in lamentation. Here, they are all cousins from the same family. They have gathered to fight for political reasons. Duryodhana from Kaurava side, they are all actually Pandavas and Kauravas. We call them Pandavas and Kauravas, but they all belong to the Kuru dynasty. It's just that Dhritarashtra says Pandu's children, Pandavas. He is the one separating them. That is why. we use the term. From Kaurava's side, we have Duryodhana. He refused to share the kingdom with the Pandavas. Yudhishthira is the leader on the other side. So they tried to negotiate many times, but Duryodhana did not budge. He did not want to give land equivalent to a tip of a needle also. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, sometimes war is inevitable when negotiations fail. So war is inevitable when negotiations fail. So now fight is about to begin, and Arjuna requests Krishna to bring the chariot in the middle of the midst of both armies. He wanted to have a look at the people on the other side, just to analyze. So all his family, friends, all of them were there. So let's see. Yes. Do you know how to recite the verses? Does anyone know how to recite? Please raise your hand and you can recite. Hare Krishna. Anand Prabhuji, do you want to recite? Hare Krishna.
With your blessings. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharm kshetre kurukshetre samvetayutsava mamka pandava sheva kim kurvata sanjaya.
Thank you, Prabhu. So actually, Dhritarashtra speaks the first verse here. Dharma Kshetra means the battle of Kurukshetra. It's a sacred place of pilgrimage. Since Vedic age, from time immemorial, this place has been a very, very sacred place of worship. Even, all the religious rituals were performed there. Even the denizens of heaven also used to come and perform there. It's a place of worship for them also. So it's a very important place. So Dhritarashtra, you can see his face here. Okay, he wants his children to win. He wants his sons to win the battle. So he's also very fearful and he's doubtful also. You see his face, you'll know that, right? He's fearful because this holy place may have an influence on on the outcome of the battle. He's worried. Like, what will happen? Because he knows Pandavas are pious and he is blind by birth, but he was also blind when it came to matters of religion. So when it comes to spiritual, he was very envious within his heart. So he's wondering, what will happen? This holy place could influence the sons of Pandu favorably because by nature they are very virtuous. He knows that. And then he was also thinking, what if because of the influence of the holy place, his sons don't fight? He was doubtful of that also. So he was worried, he's fearful, he's doubtful about all this. And Sanjaya actually is a student of Vyasamuni. So by the mercy of Vyasamuni, he is able to envision the battlefield just like even if he's sitting in the room of Dhritarashtra. And he can see because of Vyasamuni. That is one important fact. And anything you see on this in these verses, all these verses you will see in the quiz also. I'll ask you questions from here, so you can answer easily. And then he's asking, what are sons of Pandavas and my sons doing in the battlefield? He's separating, he's saying because they all belong to the royal family, he could easily support them. It's not so difficult to share the kingdom, but they just don't want to. So now what is happening is, in this battlefield, there is Krishna, Lord Krishna, the father of religion. So what will happen? Since he is present there, just like in a paddy field, how all the weeds are removed, they're taken out and thrown, Krishna will wipe out this unwanted people like Dhritarashtra's sons. Everything will be taken care of by Krishna. He will establish religious people, religious persons like Yudhishthira to rule the kingdom, and all these irreligious people will be wiped out from the battlefield. So, Dharma Kshetra, it is like milk. On any auspicious occasion, like especially housewarming and all, you boil milk, and if you add lemon to it, it will curdle like this. So he's actually separating, right? And he's asking what is happening on the battlefield. What will happen there? Obviously, what will happen? If somebody gives you a rasgulla, obviously you're going to eat it. So they have assembled there to fight, but he's asking what they're going to do. Obviously, they have assembled there to fight. They will fight because of his own fear and doubtful thought process. He's asking this question. Mama kaha Pandava. My sons and Pandava's sons. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following word. Sanjaya could understand what he's feeling. He wants his sons to win, and he's actually worried, and you can see that on his face. So actually, Sanjaya understood, and he's telling, your sons, actually, this is what Duryodhana is doing. Duryodhana saw the military force of the Pandavas, and he immediately went to the commander-in-chief, Dronacharya, to inform him of their position. So he says King Duryodhana, right? That's what is given here. But he still had to go to the commander-in-chief. And he has some fear inside, but he's being very diplomatic right now. See how he looks. Angry, bewildered, confused. Oh, my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Vada. When Arjuna approached his guru, he actually shot an arrow of flowers and took his blessings. That's how Arjuna approached his guru. But here, this is how he is approaching his guru, Dronacharya. Okay. His heart is invested in winning only. And he's also pointing out the defects of Dronacharya. He's saying, we know that there was a misunderstanding between Drupada and Dronacharya. As a result of their quarrel, Drupada performed a sacrifice, and he got a son, Drishtadumna, who would actually be able to kill Dronacharya. In spite of all this, Dronacharya knew this. In spite of that, he was quite liberal. He accepted him as a student. He imparted military knowledge. And then all that military education, all the military secrets, what he learned from Dronacharya, he's using here now. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he has taken the side of Pandavas and he has arranged their military phalanx. So he's saying that, look, your student is arranged all this. He's pointing out, your enemy's son has done this. And he's also asking him not to compromise. He has to be alert and uncompromising in fighting. He's warning that don't show any leniency. That's how he taught Drishtadumna. He's telling don't show any leniency in the fight. That's what he's trying to tell him. Especially because he knows all the students, all the Pandavas, his students, and he was quite affectionate towards them, especially Arjuna. He was his most affectionate student. So he's telling, don't show any leniency, otherwise we cannot do this. Okay. Duryodhana describing warriors of opposing army. Next few slides are about this. Here in this army are many heroic women equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Duryodhana, Virata, and Drupada. Duryodhana is just mentioning them because each of them is as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashi Raja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibya. He names more warriors. Duryodhana names more warriors. There are the mighty Yudamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Duryodhana will now describe his warriors. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, who is Dronacharya, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Bhurishrava, were always victorious in battle. So he is mentioning all these exceptional heroes. Here, so many names is saying. And let's see. Krupacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. And Karna is also half brother of Arjuna. We know all that. So let's move on. Okay. There's one verse here. Who would like to recite this one? Anyone who would like to try reciting? Please raise your hand. Sonali Mataji, would you like to recite, Mataji?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
1.9.
Mataji, please.
Yeah. Anne cha bahava shura madarthe tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharnana sarve yuddha visharadaha.
Please read the translation also, Mataji.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for many sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. So see, he's saying Tyakta Jivita. It is like it's saying something so negative, right? When we're starting something, we don't say something like this. He's saying warriors like Jayadratha, Vritavarma, and Salya, all of them are determined. They're all determined to lay down their lives for my sake. Indirectly, it means that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for having joined this party. He's sinful for joining his sinful party. They're all going to die in the Kurukshetra, in the battle of Kurukshetra. So it is something very negative, and that's what it implies. But he was very confident of his victory because of the combined strength of all these great warriors. Okay. Duryodhana's comparative assessment and conclusion. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. So he's comparing the strength. He has grandfather Bhishma on his side, who is very experienced, and he's a very experienced general. And so he's saying the strength of our armed forces is immeasurable. On the other side, Pandavas, the forces of Pandavas are limited, and they are protected by Bhima, who is less experienced general. He says, in the purport also you can read, says Bhima is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. That's what he's trying to convey. Aparyaptam, immeasurable or insufficient, protected by Bhishma. Pandavas are protected by Bhima, insignificant compared to Bhishma. Duryodhana is envious of Bhima, only he is capable of defeating him. He was always envious of Bhima, even when they were little children, right from that childhood. He was like that. He was always like that. And he knew if he should die at all, it would be, he would be killed by Bhima only. So Duryodhana appeals to other warriors to support Bhishma. All of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. See, Duryodhana felt that for Kurus, the victory depended on Bhishma. But now he's praising Bhishma, right? He doesn't want others to feel less important. So, just to encourage them, he's being very diplomatic. He's adjusting the situation with his words. He's saying Bhishma Dev is a great hero, is the greatest hero, no doubt, but he is an old man. So all of you must, stay in your strategic positions and should not allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Give protection to Bhishma Dev when he is fighting. Otherwise, the enemy might take advantage. So he's encouraging them, saying that you are also very important. Make sure you give protection to Bhishma Dev. Why was he so confident that Bhishma and Dronacharya will support him in this battle 100%? Do you know why?
Because Mataji, even when he was trying to do the most sinful activities with Draupadi, with the Chirharan, they were there sitting in the assembly hall, but though they were feeling bad, but they did not oppose that. So he was confident that they would support him in all the good as well as the bad, the worst actions he takes also, then also he's going to support him.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Hare Krishna. Because he knew very well. They did not even speak one word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi was being, when she was appealing to them for justice, they did not help her. So they were quiet. So he thinks, oh, now also they'll give me 100% support. So let's move on. So there is one more verse. Please, all of you try. If you cannot recite, it's fine. We'll help you all. That's how we learn. Hare Krishna. Who would like to recite this one?
Can I, Mataji?
Prabhu. Did you recite before also, Prabhuji?
Okay, yeah. It's really fine then. I'll go back.
Shall I recite, Mataji? Sujata Mataji?
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vruddha pitamaha simhanadam vinidyochai shankam dhatmau pratapavan.
Please read the translation of the Mataji. Pratapavan, yes.
Then Bhishma, the great sorry Mataji, I have disturbance here.
Okay. And Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. See, Bhishma actually could understand what he is feeling. Duryodhana's heart, he knows very well. So out of compassion, he didn't speak anything. He just, to try to cheer him. What he did, he picked up his conch shell. By blowing his conch shell very loudly, he showed that, he's actually, he's going to put all his efforts and fight. At the same time, blowing a conch shell is very auspicious. It is for Vishnu only. It is done for Vishnu. And here, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna is on the other side. So it also signifies that there is no chance of victory for Duryodhana and his associates in this battle because Lord Krishna is on the other side. So that's what Bhishma Dev did. Because it's his duty to fight, so he will fight with all his efforts. But blowing of conch shell also indicates that victory is on the other side because Lord is there. Okay. Bhishma, out of compassion, to cheer Duryodhana, blew the conch shell very loudly. Duryodhana's defeat is certain since Lord Krishna is on the other side. Bhishma fighting as a matter of duty. And it also says the conch shells in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna were transcendental. It is described as transcendental. So victory is always with persons, Pandu, because Lord Krishna is always associated with his devotees. Wherever the Lord is, Goddess of Fortune Lakshmi is also present. So victory and fortune both are awaiting Arjuna. So everyone started blowing their conch shells, bugles. Okay, there is one more verse. Whenever you are reciting the verses, try to recite in tune so that it will become easier to memorize also. And also it is nice to hear. That's one thing. And if you want to memorize any verses, try to see the translations also. So you know the meaning of the verse becomes easier to remember. So anyone who wants to recite, please go ahead and recite.
Shall I, Mataji? Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, sure, Mataji. Sonali Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Tata
Krishna.
श्वेतैर्हये युक्तै महती सन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदग्मतु. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shell. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. So these are the names of the conch shells. Conch shell of Lord Krishna, Panchajanya. Arjuna's is Devadatta. Yudhishthira Ananta Vijaya. Bhima's is Paundra. Nakula is Sughosha. And Sadev's is Mani Pushpaka. These are the names of the conch shells. And these are some of the names of the Lord. Krishna, all attractive. Rishikesha, master of the senses. These, you'll find these terms, these names you'll find in the verses. He's calling, Arjuna will call him Rishikesha, Madhava, Achyuta, Madhusudana. You see the verses, he'll use these names. And whenever he's using a certain name, there is a meaning behind that. When he calls him Madhusudana, that means, just like how you killed the demon Madhu, there are a lot of doubts in me. Try to, help me. Remove all these doubts from me. What it means. Govinda, who gives pleasure to the senses for cows. Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva. Vasudeva was his father. Vasudeva is Krishna. Devaki Nandana, son of Devaki. Yashoda Nandana, son of Yashoda. Partha Sarathi, charioteer of Partha. Keshava, killer of demon Keshi. Janardana, maintainer of all living entities or killer of all living entities. Dhananjaya, conqueror of wealth, that is Arjuna. Partha means son of Pritha. Kunti Devi, her other name is Pritha. Godakesha, one who conquers sleep. Rukodara, Bhima, voracious eater and performs Herculean tasks. And now, see what happens after Lord Krishna and all blew their conch shells. Let's see what happens. Please recite this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. सघोषोधार्तराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यदारयत् नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव तुमुलोऽभ्यनुनादयन्.
Whenever there is a apostrophe, there is an A sound, Mataji. See, this is Tumulo Abhya Nunadayan. This is an A sound. Abhya Nunadayan.
Tumulo Abhyam. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious and thus vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. When Bhishma and, on the other side of Duryodhana, when they blew their conch shells, what happened? There was no heartbreaking on the part of Pandavas. But the hearts of sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas party. Why is that so? When Krishna and all blew their conch shells, the hearts of the Dhritarashtra's sons, all Duryodhana, and their hearts shattered, it says. Why is it so? Do you know why?
Because the sound which it gave, when he blew the conch shells, the sound which it came out, that was not so pleasant, which is supposed to be. But whereas when Krishna blew his conch shells, so it was very sweet, and it was very confident that the result is going to be this.
The reason is actually, see, when Pandavas are very confident, they're fearless. When they blew, it was like full confidence, and it created fear in the other person's heart. So that's why the hearts were shattered. Why are they so confident? Because the Lord is on their side. So if we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, there's nothing to fear. So that's what it means. Even in the midst of the greatest calamity, this is the worst situation anybody can be in. War, now so many people are going to die. This is the worst situation, right? Even in the greatest calamity, if the Lord is on our side, nothing to fear. That's what, with so much confidence, they blew the conch shell. On the other side, everybody was like, their hearts were shattered. Their hearts were shattered. That's what it says. But when they blew, these people did not feel any fear. Nothing happened on this side. Okay, another verse. We'll do 2 more verses and stop and do the remaining next week. We can discuss 2 questions from this chapter. And you will also get a chance to read all the purports and verses and come back next week for more discussion. It's a very simple chapter, just observation of armies, but there are points to remember. So who would like to recite?
अथ व्यवस्थिता दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रं कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यमपाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदमहामहीपते.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So now the battle was about to begin, and all the on Duryodhana side, Dhritarashtra's children are disheartened, and they saw the arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, and we see the emblem of Hanuman flag on the flag of Arjuna. That is a sign of victory, because Hanuman served Lord Ram in the battle of battle between Rama and Ravana. So Rama and Krishna, there's no difference between Rama and Krishna. Rama is Krishna and Krishna is Rama. So Lord Rama emerged victorious when Hanuman was with him. So here also Hanuman's support they have. So Rama is also present, Hanuman is also present, and Mother Lakshmi is also present, Bhagya Lakshmi. And then what else we have? There are so many different reasons. We'll see one by one. And the master of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present, giving directions to Arjuna. And then all good counsel was available to Arjuna to perform this battle. So these are all auspicious conditions arranged by the Lord for Arjuna's sake, for his eternal devotee's victory. Arjuna's flag on the chariot has emblem of Hanuman, devotee of Lord Ram, signs of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Rama. They both won the battle. So we see now we know Kurukshetra was a place of worship, very sacred place. And then the chariot, it's a special chariot actually. It was capable of conquering all sides. Wherever it was drawn in the three worlds, it could conquer all sides. And the emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna, we see Rishikesha is present, proprietor of all senses, everybody's senses. Rishikesha means proprietor of everyone's senses, of all, everybody's senses. So he is present, Bhagya Lakshmi is present, Rama and Hanuman are there. And then counting of the transcendental conscience also we saw. And then Duryodhana said, Tyakta Jivita, they are ready to lay down their life. Such a negative way. So, and another thing is, Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a very auspicious way, Mokshada Ekadashi. So that is another important point. Lord Krishna is personally present as Shikisha to direct senses. Arjuna's victory is assured. So signs of victory. We'll read this and then stop here, because we have finished 53 slides and there are at least 30 more to go. So we can discuss that next week. Signs of victory for the Pandavas. Krishna's personal presence confirms victory. Supreme personality of Godhead is the charioteer. Jaistu Pandaputranam Isham. Krishna as Rishikesha directly controls the senses of a pure devotee, goddess of fortune. Whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there. She never lives without her husband. Therefore, all fortune is guaranteed. Kurukshetra is a holy place, venue. So, effect of holy place on the war. Hanumanji on Arjuna's flag. Hanumanji also helped Lord Rama in gaining victory. So, symbol of Vishnu. Conch shell is a symbol of Vishnu. This is indirectly indicated by Bhishma and Pandava's conch shells. Transcendental conch shells. Krishna and Arjuna's conch shells mentioned as Divya, transcendental. Bhishma's conch shell to pacify Duryodhana. Agni Deva's chariot. The chariot was given by Agni Dev to Arjuna, so which was capable of conquering all directions. Shattering of hearts. Conch shells of Pandavas shattered Kaurava's hearts. Pandava's hearts were not shattered because of confidence of taking shelter of Krishna. That's the reason. So we'll do from verse 21 in the next class, so that it's the first day. Let us discuss little. If you have any questions or anything, I will stop this.